Hello fellow Clashers, it is Kairos time once again. I hope you're doing well. I know that I am. Today we're going to be looking at a challenge-winning deck that includes the Royal Giant, Furnace, and the Lightning. Before we get to that, I just wanted to say thank you for joining us today. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the KairosTime family. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you like, subscribe, and leave comments in the section below. I'm wanting to create a really strong player community environment on my channel where you can go and post any questions that you have on the comments in any of my videos, and either I or some other player that is good at the game will be able to answer your question. Now that means that if you are good at the game, I would really appreciate it if you looked in the comments below, look to see if there are some questions that somebody has that you can answer. It would mean a lot to me, so thank you so much. Now let's go ahead and talk about this deck here. We have a Royal Giant as the primary win condition. Now the Royal Giant is kind of an interesting card. Most people do not play the Royal Giant unless it is in the ladder, because the Royal Giant is a common and is easy to overlevel, and quite honestly hasn't been super overpowered when it comes to the challenges in a very long time. In fact, I almost never see a Royal Giant in the arena, at least not past round 5 or 6. Yet here we have Aha, who has created this deck and is playing it in a challenge, and these are the last 2 matches in his challenge, and so he did very well in there. Now we're going to be taking a look at this deck, kind of breaking it down, talking about what makes it work so well in the meta that we're experiencing at the moment. One of the biggest weaknesses to the Royal Giant is the Inferno Tower. Now we are seeing a lot of the Inferno Tower in this meta, but what we do have is the Lightning. Now the Lightning allows us to try and reset that Inferno Tower and gets rid of a ton of damage, or a ton of health that is on that Inferno Tower, which is perfect for the Royal Giant, who can just finish it off with 1 Lightning Strike. Now that being said, one of the best ways that you can play the Royal Giant in order when your opponent does have the Inferno Tower is by placing him in the very far back behind your King's Tower. By doing that, that's going to give you plenty of time for you to save up that Lightning for an Inferno Tower. Now when I played Royal Giant in the past, most of the time it's actually better for you to place the Royal Giant in the front, as Aha just did right there. That being said, that is not the case if your opponent has the Inferno Tower back in their hand. Aha took advantage of the fact that he did not have the Inferno Tower available, and because of that he was able to place that Royal Giant right up the front, so he was able to get some damage off that tower pretty quickly. That's a good way to place the Royal Giant, but here you see him playing the Royal Giant further back because he knows that his opponent has that Inferno Tower. This allows him to save up just enough elixir to get rid of that Inferno Tower using the Lightning. Now the next card we have in here is the Mega Minion. With the meta being filled with Mega Minions, it's important to have a Mega Minion in your deck. Fight fire kind of a sort of thing. Right there you just saw a Mega Minion being used to clear the opponent's Mega Minion, and this is one of the best ways to use the Mega Minion, honestly. Especially at this deck when you have that Royal Giant right up the front. A lot of people are going to be trying to get rid of that Royal Giant as fast as they can with heavy damage troops like the Mega Minion. You can also use the Mega Minion on defense as well. There are so many different ways that you can use the Mega Minion. Next we have the Furnace. The Furnace is a really important card in this deck right now because of how common it is for us to see the Skeleton Army. This deck doesn't use the log like a lot of other decks do to try and take care of the Skeleton Army. It uses the Furnace, and the Furnace is really great because it also helps to clear enemy swarms that include the Minion Horde or even the regular Minions. You can even use it against the Hog Rider to try and prevent the Hog Rider from landing his hammer on your tower. Overall, it really just adds a lot of utility to the deck and is great in a lot of different situations. Next we have the Guards. The Guards are a really great card because they literally counter almost every card in the game. They're amazing because that shield that they have, they're definitely epic. We'll just say that. Now you'll want to use them primarily on defense because of their utility. Now you can definitely also use them to try and make a comeback, but really the Guards are just best used to try and prevent some damage being done on your tower. Next we have the Archers. Now the Archers are a really cool card, and the reason why they're so great is because they can survive not only the zap but also the 3 elixir arrows and the legendary log. That makes Archers a really good card to be using right now. They have a really high damage per second ratio, and you can even split them behind your King's Tower to try and do a little bit of a split push to get some damage on either your opponent's tower or try and just kind of make your opponent have to pay attention to both sides of the lane if you really want to. They're really great at also defending against the Mega Minion for an equal elixir cost, and they're just an all-around very good supportive troop to be using. It's kind of interesting because I haven't seen a lot of archers in the meta a lot until just recently, and now it seems like they're being used in all sorts of different decks. The last two cards in this deck are the Zap and the Ice Spirit. Obviously, there are a lot of different ways that you can use both of those cards. I'm not going to go over them a whole bunch in detail because they're just so commonly used right now. A lot of people already know and understand how to use them. Now, that being said, I did want to mention to you all that this deck does have a little bit of a difficult time against really heavy decks. You've seen it play against Hog Rider decks, but when it comes to Lava Hound decks or even Golem decks, this does have a little bit of a difficult time with it. Now, if you are at full elixir when your opponent places down a Golem or the Lava Hound, the best thing that you can do is place down your Royal Giant right at the bridge on your opponent's on the opposite lane, so you can try and get some damage done to that tower. Then you want to try and make sure that you are close to full elixir when the Golem does or the Lava Hound gets to your side, and use the lightning really well to get rid of supporting troops and your other troops to try and get rid of the Golem. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, everybody. I love making these videos, and I really appreciate all of your wonderful support. It really means a lot to me. I'm touched by all of your wonderful comments. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. This is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in the arena.